click the button. You hope it works. There we go. Grrrrr. Greetings, humans, greetings, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode. We're here, 29-year veteran of the woods, and gosh darn it, I gotta move my mic. 29-year veteran of the woods, and today, oh boy, if you had plans on Bear doing a professional show today, Bear is going to ruin those plans because you know what? Sometimes it works out for you. Sometimes you're actually dodging showers and you don't even know if the old Wi-Fi is going to work for you. You just never know. So it's always a very fun time for Bear. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, I tell you what, people. Where are we gonna get started with here first? Bear was actually going to do a. Let me find. I haven't even seen if this is going to work yet. Hold on one second, people. 1 second here. Is it going to work? No, of course it doesn't work. For crying out loud. Come on, man. Let's see. 1 second, please. I apologize about the blank screen here because Bear is actually going to do. There we are. Bear is actually going to do kind of a little talk about oddity here. Bear might actually do that on just kind of a separate video, just kind of doing that. Oh, for crying out loud! I tell you what, the signal isn't the best here, so we will figure out if that's going to work or not. Anyways, had a sort of a run here with maybe doing a oddity review, but again, I'm not sure if the the old Wi-Fi is going to work for me here, so we might do that. Might do that another time, perhaps. Maybe make that as its own video here, because I tell you what, still trying to basically dodge some of these showers, and also try and get a decent Wi-Fi. So that might be on a separate video here, but keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for that. Yes, indeed. All right, so let's go ahead. I tell you what, people, we have done nothing for the past couple of minutes here of gibbering and jabbering. So let's just go ahead and get right on into what we're going to talk about here today. And that's always our good friends over at let me find it here. Over at Wraith of God. Yes, indeed. We've got a quick update from awesome Aaron out there. Let's pull that up here. If you can find it. Oh, for crying out loud. I tell you what, people. One of these days, we will actually do a professional show. It won't be today, though, unfortunately. Why is that not showing up? OBS, dang you. I tell you what, people. Let's see. Hold on 1 second here, people. I tell you what. Let's see. Is it switched around? There it goes. Okay, so let me see if I can. Sorry, people. I tell you what. One of these days. Let's see. I swear it worked. I swear it worked when Bear was setting it up here. Alright, enough of that. Finally, Wraith of God update. It is a stretch goal print out there. Yes, indeed. So let's go ahead and get into it just a little bit here. Let me move this so Bear can see it. Hey, everyone. Hey, Aaron. I'm sure you are as anxious as to hear what's new as I am about to tell you. I just finished the last piece of art associated with this campaign, the Wraith of God Blood Hunters. A preview print that everyone who backs this campaign will get for free. Well, let's quit talking about it. And actually show it here. If it will show, I tell you what, people, I don't know sometimes. There we go. I'll move it out of the way here. Sometimes, you're like, okay, is it going to work or not? Maybe not. Alright, but it does. Let's see, this is the Wraith of God, a Blood Hunters preview print, that everyone who backs the campaign will get for free. This ended up being a watercolor acrylic painting, something that Aaron hasn't done in years. It was a definite challenge, but I think overall it's a successful piece. It will go to printers on Friday and be back the next week. So there you go. Nice quick turnaround there. The Ruff's Ashcan is at the printers, and the Wraith of God graphic novel passed final printer's proof. Yes, indeed. It is ready to print as soon as they can squeeze it in. You gotta squeeze that in. All of the Garbage Man, I keep seeing this, TPB, trade paperbacks. Power Cubbed trade paperbacks and Raw Imagination books are signed and ready to ship. So go ahead and get your, if you're able to, get your Raw Imagination. That is bear approved there. Also, t-shirts are printed and packaged rather, and on their way to Aaron. Shelly and I will get these shipped out next week. Hugh won't be long now. Thank you all for supporting this exciting campaign. Well, there you go. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Uh-oh. What's going on here? For crying out loud. Let's see. So, yeah, very cool. He's got a nice little thing there. All right, hold on just one second, people. For crying out loud. For crying out loud, I tell you what, people. Let's see. Moving on here. Actually, I just wanted to show that. I tell you what, sometimes it is a little bit hard to. Aaron does a really great job with updating everybody here, but I tell you what, it the reading that is a little bit hard here because sometimes he bolds some stuff and unbolds the other stuff. It's a little bit hard. You just want to have your bold stuff as the main thing that you want to tell people there. So when you're just randomly bolding different words there, it gets just a little bit hard to read out there. So there you go. There you are. All right, let me hold on just one second here, people. Okay, alright. Well, there we go. That was totally useless there. That was totally useless. Anyways, people, a nice update there from Wraith of God if you're checking that out. Alright, for crying out loud. Hold on one second, people. I tell you what, people, one of these days, we will actually do a professional show. It won't be today, though, unfortunately. Unfortunately not. All right, let's actually get into the meat of the matter, as it were. Minimize that and bring up what we're going to talk about here from our good friends over at find it here over at Bounding Into Comics. Yes, indeed. Talking about the Halo show that they have here. I guess Beer should get into it real quick. Beer never actually played. More of a PlayStation fan than Xbox. I know. Send your letters. But a little bit more of a PlayStation fan out there. So never really played the Halo series there. It did end up seeing some of the web series. What was that? Red versus Blue, I think. They had an interesting thing there that kind of was set in the Halo universe that they would have. It's kind of a very humorous site out there. So Beer really doesn't know a whole lot about the Halo show or the Halo game that much, but kind of an interesting. Once again, another company, another studio out there that takes an IP that everybody enjoys and completely misses the point of the show, or completely misses the point of the IP and makes a completely different show than probably what a lot of people would imagine. We're subverting expectations, but not really. You're only subverting your stock price, really. So it's let's see here, Bounding Into Comics and Spencer Bakuli or Spencer Basuli. I need to get that worked out there. It says Paramount massacres Master Chief and Halo pulls a bait and switch bigger than Kevin Smith's He-Man. I don't know how you could do that, but there you go. As if I tell you what, people, as if. Hold on a second, one people. I tell you what, one of these days, professional show. As if Master Chief's numerous helmet removals rather, or the series' complete out-of-character sex scene, holy cow, weren't proof positive enough. The first season finale of Paramount Plus's Plus People live-action Halo TV adaptation has presented audience with a bait-and-switch that solidifies the fact that the once beloved and unique sci-fi series has been reduced to yet more generic Hollywood trash. Well, even trash, even one man's trash, is another bear's food for that evening. Apparently, I'm pretty sure they never showed Master Chief in the Halo. He never took off his helmet. It was supposed to be basically, I suppose, kind of an avatar of the player themselves. So, no matter what, 57 genders or 87 different races out there, you can basically feel like it is your own character. You never saw the character behind the mask. You basically can kind of you literally put yourself in their shoes there. So, apparently they decided to lift the mask off of the Halo Master Chief here. Actually, I've got some pictures here. Let me find it here 1 second, people. There he is. There we go. There it is. Opening with explorations into various interpersonal character developments, the season's 9th and final episode, Transcendence, revolves around Chief leading a mission to the Covenant homeworld, Hesiodorus, to retrieve the Forerunner artifact, and subsequently, put a stop to their pan-galactic military conquest. Wow, that's hopefully your supply lines are well guarded there. Well guarded. Making their way to the planet, the UNSC strike team stealthily touches down near a Covenant holy site. Wherein the group's leaders, the Prophets, are preparing to have their human ally, Makey, activate the artifact, and in turn reveal a path to the series' eponymous Halo weapons. Yes, indeed. As the Covenant prepares to use the artifact, its assembly causes a strange resonance with both Makey and the Chief, both of whom suddenly find themselves lost in a dazed stupor to the mysterious connection to the devices. So, let me, I think I have that here somewhere. Let me find it here. What was it here? Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. I guess it was in this one. Oh well. Whatever. It's in there somewhere. Unfortunately for Silver Team, Chief's state of confusion causes him to unknowingly stumble outside of cover, an act which reveals the presence on the planet and prompts the Covenant to sound the alarm to their surrounding forces. So, gosh, I thought I had the picture there. Anyways, it's really silly. Gosh, I thought I had that. Hold on 1 second, people. I tell you what, one of these days. There it is. There it goes. So he's just like bubbling around and everything. By the way, if your entire show, if the entire premise of your writer's room and whatnot is, we're not gonna watch we're not gonna play the video game or watch anything about it. We're gonna come up with our own story. Why would you put in video game, which is fine, by the way, but why would you put in, the video game elements out of a story that you're trying to get away from? I think that's quite silly there. Yes, indeed. All right, let's get back to it here. Let me take a drink here. Met with a sudden influence of enemy elite and brute warriors, including the brute chief, seen last episode. The Spartans soon find themselves on the brink of being outright overwhelmed by the Covenant forces. Well, they are on their home planet at basically their church or whatever. However, they are saved from certain death in this moment. Pardon me, people. By Mackey's sudden activation of the Forerunner artifact, which proceeds to unleash a burst of energy that sweeps both human and Covenant alike away from the battlefield. So there was a neat scene there. Really, actually, I gotta say, all the pictures that we have, really nice, really good production value. I never saw it, don't have Paramount Plus or anything like that, but I just found the pictures here. Very, very nice. Very nice lighting, very nice contrast, very nice setup and everything. It looks good. It looks kind of like pretty much all the shows out nowadays. They look really nice, but it's just like a veneer there. You scratch just a little bit below the surface, and there's nothing there. A very Potemkin like a TV show, which just kind of has the facade of looking good, but apparently not. As a partial map of Halo looms overhead, Chief is suddenly pulled into the trance-like state, falling to his knees, as his consciousness wakes up in the ethereal, heavenly vision shared between him and Makey, who is already present and attempts to convince him to, quote, stay with me, before coming to the sudden realization she's actually dying. Well, that's a bad time to come up with that realization. Waking up from his trance, Chief discovers that in the brief moments he was out of commission, the Covenant have put the Silver Team against the ropes, with most of them being taken out of commission due to injury. That's tough. Throughout, though his first instincts is to make a beeline for the Forerunner artifact, Chief is soon stopped by Cortana, who frantically informs him, quote, there's no way you can save the artifacts and the team. Faced with this binary decision, a dilemma rather, and unable to make a decision, Chief then calmly tells his AI companion, then you do it, darn it, before rushing headfirst into the battlefield with complete abandon for his own safety. As Cortana begs him to stop, telling him that she no longer wishes to fulfill her initial purpose of overwriting his mind, poor guy, to take control of his facilities. Chief pushes further into the hail of enemy gunfire, eventually coming face to face with the aforementioned brute chieftain. I may not be able to bring you back, a desperate Cortana warns, to which Chief replies, quote, I trust you. After you've tried to rejigger my brain, apparently. Before receiving a death blow from the Brute's hammer. I tell you what, you go across the universe, but you get killed by a hammer. Lying on the ground after being hit, Chief closes his eyes, his HUD slowly beeping out of service before ceasing operation completely. Well, he's dead. Projecting an image of herself outside of Chief's armor to mourn the loss of her partner, Cortana then proceeds to fulfill his dying wish, taking control of his Spartan 2 armor and rebooting it. That was his dying wish. It wouldn't have been, I want a T-bone steak or something like that. Initializing her own unique HUD within the armor's helmet. A visual confirmation that Chief is no longer in control of his body. Actually, I've got that. There we go. Moments later, the team is miraculously rescued by their UNSC Pelican, ostensibly summoned by Cortana, and successfully make their way off of Hedorus, with the team mostly intact. Yes, indeed. As the episode draws to the close, the Cortana Chief, I tell you what, a nice name there, Cortana Chief, here we go, is found sitting alone at the controls of the Pelican as it drifts through space before being joined by the Kai, whatever. Taking to the pilot's co-pilot seat next to the Spartan, Kai proceeds to ask her teammate, John, is that you? Drawing only silence from Cortana before the episode cuts to credits. Yes, indeed. While it's likely that Chief's mind will somehow find itself restored, working order in Halo's already greenlit second season, this twist regardless stands as yet another example of how Hollywood's obsession, with, quote, subverting audience expectations always leads to ruin. Yes, it does. Chief's death, much like He-Man's, Luke Skywalker, Jean-Luc Picard, I tell you what, and so many other iconic leads in recent years, is not only a forced attempt by the writer's room to inject cheap drama into the series, but also something that likely no one outside of extreme contrarians contrarians would have wanted from the adaptation of Halo. It's Cortanians, rather. I tell you what, one of these days, people. A side story focusing on other Spartans. Sure, let the deaths fly for the cannon fodder. The ads. Go on here. There we go. Let's see, a what-if type scenario where a group of Covenants are telling stories and bragging about being the one to have killed the Chief, a la the Batman animated series episode Legends of the Dark Knight. Most fans would be up for this experiment in storytelling. Especially if Chief were still revealed to be alive, maybe even coming across the group and proceeding to take them out in the project's conclusion. Pretty cool. However, killing the iconic and beloved main character of the franchise, especially after years of fans clamoring to see him brought to life in a live action for nothing more than a cheap shock and a few hours of social media relevance. Well, pretty much, that's pretty much all that they have, right? Basically, really living in the moment. They're not really realizing that, hey, you're gonna have to do an entirely new season, and you killed off your main character, the main character that's named after and everything. Well, it's not named after, but your main character of your Halo show there. It might be a bad thing. They didn't kill off Tony Soprano in the very first episode. That would have been a very bad Sopranos after a while. That's just kind of abysmal writing. One would expect from a show whose production team didn't look or talk about the game, but instead talked about the characters and the world, and found themselves working within the constraints of the Halo video games, quotes, wasn't serving the creative teams and their need to express story and to build the world through their eyes. Of course, ultimately, there's no reason to expect that any future seasons of Halo will course correct and begin to treat the source material with any sort of respect. After all, as affirmed by 343 Industries head of Halo Transmedia, holy cow, Kiki Wolfkill. I tell you what a great name. Kiki Wolfkill. Kiki Wolfkill. This series, at least it's not Bearkill. That would be terrible. This series' second season will potentially feature a focus on, quote, deeply exploring the Spartan's personal life. Oh, I enjoy seeing that. You know exactly what everyone wanted out of a live-action adaptation of a sci-fi first-person shooter focused on saving the planet from aliens. And he concludes, what do you make of Halo's season finale? Well, where do we go? Where do we go with this? Okay, try to put this into kind of a perspective here. Basically, what would I would assume the folks here, what was his name, Spencer here at Bounding into Comics, or maybe some of the other fans out there, would want maybe just a straight Halo type action adventure type thing. But what would differentiate that from a video game, for example? What would be the difference between a cutscene in the video game and just basically a TV series? It would be the video game without any of the gaming or anything like that went along with it. So, probably what happened here was, let Bear kind of explain it this way. Imagine if you were, you're watching, you're binge watching your Netflix or your Hulu or whatever it is out there. You're binge watching all of the, murder mystery dramas out there. Let's just say you're watching a whole bunch of those. With Netflix, there's not really any like, oh wow, this is great. Usually they're kind of a middle of the road type. Even Amazon and some of the other stuff, it's kind of very basic, very middle of the road. Maybe the first couple of episodes might have something unique or something like that in there, and then kind of falls into the rut of just kind of the same sort of thing. So imagine if you were you're binge watching a number of different crime shows on your Netflix or your Amazon or whatever. And they're good. I mean, they're not great or anything like that. It's nothing that's life-changing, Oscar-worthy or anything like that. They do a decent job or something like that. And then let's just say, just for example, all of a sudden you come across a crime, drama, murder mystery that's an anime. Just for example here. You've watched, let's see, 10 episodes in a day, and they all kind of run together and everything, and then you watch your anime murder mystery out there. Well, you're going to remember that, next day or two or three, hey, what did you watch the other day as far as your murder mystery shows? Oh, well, they're all kind of good, but, the one that you remember would be the sort of anime one, because it was completely different. It might not have been any good or anything like that. In fact, it might have been kind of bad compared to some of the other ones. But you remember that. You remember how to do something like that. So imagine if you're working for one of these entertainment companies. You're working as a script reader out there. You've read all the scripts in the world. You've probably read hundreds, if not thousands, of scripts out there. You know, script comes. They say, okay, we want you to read a number of different Halo. We're trying to produce a Halo show. Why don't you check out a number of these scripts from a couple different writers and kind of figure out which one we should do. You kind of read through, and they're all kind of the same Halo sort of stuff there. Might be really good, but it's basically the same. Then all of a sudden you get one, what happens if Master Chief, like Picard, his mother committed suicide, and, he's been carrying this throughout the years, even in his robotic body for whatever reason in the Picard case. It's a character study of the Spartan Master Chief out there. It can be completely terrible, but it's very unique. It's like, okay, I read three pretty much the same scripts, but this fourth one, I tell you what, talks about Master Chief's mother, all this stuff. They're looking into the personal lives and that sort of deal. Well, you basically got it. You kind of recognize that as being kind of a unique or different or something like that. You say, hey, let's go with that. Mainly because you, as the sort of script reader or script filter out there, you've done all that stuff, so you want something you want something unique. But the audience out there, the one that you're going to be writing for, they might not want that unique thing. They might want something unique there, something sprinkled in there that's going to be a little bit different. But we want a Halo show. We don't want a Cortana show or anything like that. So that's probably what happened. Was they came in, they said they wanted a Halo show. Oh, what do we do? How are we going to make it different or something like that? Well, let's do a couple rug pulls. Let's make Cortana the new Master Chief out there. Boy, oh boy, will people be talking. Well, they're talking, but they're saying what a terrible job you're doing. Well, that doesn't really matter. You get the clicks on Twitter. Half of them might be bots, but you're still getting your clicks on Twitter. You're enjoying yourself. So it might not really even matter if you're even there in the writer's room come season 2, because, hey, you know what? You got noticed on social media. You got noticed from your friends and everything. And really, that's what matters, is your personal validation, not allowing the audience to enjoy whatever you're writing up there. So probably just a lot of very selfish people there in the writer's room. They talk a lot about diversity, especially in the writer's room there. You pretty much have a monolithic. They might be diverse as far as gender or race or something like that, but it's very much standard fare as far as thinking goes. There's no really diverse thinking that would go along with that. There's no, hey, we know we want to do this, but let's try it a different way, because it's always, the same talking point or something like that. Maybe keep it to the same. Those people are marginalized. Those people are put out and basically not heard from again. So probably just went along the lines of group think out there. They never saw the show, so they decided to go with their own little thing there. They all thought that they were being cool and hip, and they probably were within their sorts of group or community there. Hey, we don't want to see the same thing. Let's do something different. They all probably, all right, oh yeah, we did it. We did something different. We subverted expectations. But you also destroyed your show, so don't know how much this actually cost to make. It looks like it cost quite a bit, but I probably threw away quite a bit of money talking about some of that stuff. So there we go. There is your Halo. Everybody that wanted to see a Halo show, you finally got it, and unfortunately you might have been just a little bit, just a hair there, just a tiny bit of disappointed there. So unfortunately, once again, you get woke. Say it with me, people. You go broke. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, let's speak of going woke here for just a second. I tell you what. My signal is coming in and out here. I tell you, people. I tell you. Well, let's do this really quickly then, just in case it cuts out here on Beer here, because many of you enjoy the live show that Beer puts on here. We try to do it every Wednesday and Saturday. Here's Saturday. Many of you might not be able to check out the show. Sometimes we're doing different times here to do some of that stuff. It might get a little confusing. But we always try to leave up these shows out there for you people to check out here. Oh, good to see VM here. Good to see VM. But if many of you do not know, Beer actually has another channel out there. It's actually called, would you guess it, Barely Live. There we go, Barely Live. So if you want to check that out, please do, because the actual show that we had on Wednesday, I tell you what, people, we actually had a really good show on Wednesday. It has been put under a sort of a hold by YouTube. YouTube went out and put it in a private mode because of unspecified community violations. So if you actually happen to want to go check out the show, Bear actually uploaded it to the other channel there. So you can actually go to Barely Live. We just got it uploaded yesterday. So go ahead and check it out. Go see what YouTube does not want you to see out there. So kind of a hiccup in the plans here. Bear actually had planned on doing some different stuff. Had to completely go back and redo a number of things, including basically trying to figure out whether or not which different video service Bear might want to put up as sort of a backup or as a maybe an alternate service out there, just in case YouTube does not like what Bear has to say sometimes. So thinking probably about Rumble, that might be the closest one out there. But if anybody has any suggestions, go ahead and leave that. Hopefully this video will be up. Leave it in the comment section for Bear there. Bear will check it out if you have a second alternate source to YouTube out there. Bear will check that out. But yeah, once again, definitely check out the Barely Live channel, because the video from Wednesday got I think VM was there. I'm pretty sure VM was there. So yeah, anyways, that got the boot. It did eventually get what would you call that? The community guideline. What would you call that? Sort of strike against that sort of deal. That went away. They I guess reviewed the video and it went away, but it's still private. Bear just left it private, so go ahead and check out the Barely Live one. But yeah, I tell you what, and probably one of the reasons why that it got taken down was oh gosh darn it, where is it here? One of these days, people. One of these days is because we were actually talking a little bit about the whole disinformation board that they had out there. So they kind of shut that down. So we were talking a little bit about that, and Bear kind of wonders if maybe that was that might have been a little bit part of it. Bear's never actually had a video held in review or struck like that before. Only had one or two times where it's been a copyright issue that had come up, mainly because of music. Just either the video didn't go up or the music changed or something like that. Bear changed it out, so no issues there. So yeah, very interesting. Being shut down for the very first time. It's kind of startled Bear just a little bit, but you know what? That's what we do the other channel here for. So, oops. We're going into, pardon me, people, real clear politics with Ian Swartz. Basically, it was a question answer with the, what was her name? Karine, the lady up there at the White House. With the press briefing here. Read it here. Let's see. I think this is Deucey. The Deuce out there. Thanks, Karine. A follow-up to the disinformation board. This is a question and answer. Last week, you guys said that you needed this disinformation governance board and DHS to make sure that freedom of speech is protected across the country, and that these platforms are not used for forms of disinformation. So what changed, he asked. The Deuce. Look at the Department of Homeland Security. Let's see, what was her name? Karine Jean-Pierre. Or is it Perry? I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Look. Whenever you start your answer with the word "look," it's not a it's very aggressive. Look, fat. But maybe that's where she got it from. Look, fat. The Department of Homeland Security. They began their statement reporting that the board had been intentionally mischaracterized, which was a little bit of what you were asking me. And they were explicit about what it does and does not do, rather. It was never about censorship, policing speech, or removing content from anywhere. Its function was to keep Homeland Security officials aware of how bad actors, including human smugglers, transnational criminal organizations, and foreign adversaries could use disinformation to advance their goals. All we asked was, give us an example of that. As Secretary Mayorkas said, he's asked former DHS Secretary, the great Michael Chertoff, and former, what she's trying to say is Deputy Attorney General Jamie Gorelick, go check her out sometime, to lead a thorough review. So it's like, it's like the police policing themselves. It's just not going to work. This is the pause that I was talking about an assessment as members of the bipartisan Homeland Security Advisory Council. The board will not convene during that period, but the department's work across several administrations to address disinformation that threatens the security for our country is critical and will continue. That is a word salad. So that work is going to continue. You just said that. The deuce. So if it's pausing because you think the board was mischaracterized, then the disinformation board is being shut down because of disinformation. Is that what's happening here? Karine Jean-Pierre. Look, fat. I mean, the board was put forth for a purpose, right? Right? Question mark? Right? Right? I don't know. Was it? You're the spokesperson. You tell us. To make sure that we really did address what was happening across the country when it came for disinformation. He has another question, but it's off mic. Miss Pierre, Miss Jean-Pierre. It's going to pause. There's a mischaracterization from outside forces. The Russians. Grrrr. And so now what we're going to do, we're going to pause it and we're going to do an assessment. But the work doesn't stop. We're going to still continue doing the work. The DHS is still going to continue the work. So it's a pause, but they're going to continue. That makes sense to it, doesn't it? That makes sense to everybody out there, doesn't it? There we go. So that was the official statement there. They also said that they actually never met. They had a board that was set up for best government practices, but they never met. They also say that, what was it here? It was never about censorship, policing speech, or removing content from anywhere. Miss Pereira, whatever, that is a bald-faced lie. And Bear will put up his video to be banned whether or not, but that is a complete lie from this lady here. Basically, well, you might be able to split a hair just a little bit here. The Department of Homeland Security itself, its computers, its servers, whatnot, they are not going to be censoring, policing speech, or removing content from anywhere. They are going to put forth the best practices for companies out there that rely on a government contract like, Amazon, Google, probably Facebook, all these other places that depend on government contracts out there that says, hey, these are our best practices out there. You better follow those best practices. It would be a shame. It would be a shame to see your huge monopoly here be broken up if you don't follow what we're saying and doing there. So you can split the hair just a little bit there, but basically when government tells companies what to do, That it starts with an F. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it ends in ashism or something like that. Something like that. So yes, Miss Pierre, that is a complete bald-faced lie out there. The other one is basically they were trying to put it on outside forces here, or the evil right wing out there. All those people out there, they're just terrible. Well, actually, hat tip to Glenn Greenwald out there. The Nation actually had a interesting piece here. I'm not going to read it. I can read the whole thing. Probably. Let's see. Let me see my. Oh my goodness, I'm dropping frames left and right here. The Nation, a very center left. Center left would probably be a good description for the Nation. Maybe a little bit more towards the far left, but that's okay. That's all right. Meet the head of Biden's new disinformation governing board here from Lev. Let me get this right. Lev Golorkin. Golorkin out there. A very interesting piece. Basically, was talking about how that is a face that you would cut meat on. I tell you what. Basically talking about how they were set. We'll just read it here. Jankowicz's experience as a disinformation warrior includes her work with Stop Fake, a U.S. government-funded anti-disinformation organization founded in 2014. So if you want to know, okay, where'd this lady get her expertise at? Here we go. Stop Fake. Let's see. Where was he? To combat criminal lies. 4 years later, Stop Fake began aggressively whitewashing two Ukrainian groups with a long track record of violence, including war crimes. Today, Stop Fake is an official Facebook fact-checking partner, which gives it power to censor news, while Jankowicz is America's disinformation czar out there. So once again, that puts the lie to the secretary, the press secretary's statement out there. If the Biden-branded administration is serious about combating threats such as white supremacy, perhaps it should first reflect on the old Roman question, who will guard the guardians? So basically, the lady to set up a disinformation board and get rid of all those evil white supremacists out there was actually part of a whitewashing campaign for some of the a little bit more aggressive white nationalist groups over there in the Ukraine. So I think that maybe that might not be the best person to check it out. I wanted to, let's see, and again, these people are writing as on the left, so they're not out there promoting any sort of right wing or any just maybe even I would say center right, anything like that out there. At the time of Jankowicz's piece, old Nina out there. The Russian press was bristling at Kiev's creating a new holiday to honor military volunteers. Let's see. Moscow commentators depicted this as a celebration of far-right butchers. Nina offered an emphatically different take. Quote, volunteer battalions organized through the country and their supported weak Ukrainian armed forces and prevented further Russian separatist encroachment. Today, the volunteer battalions are part of the official Ukrainian armed forces overseen by the Defense and Interior Ministries, she said in her Stop Fake debunking statement. The volunteer movement in Ukraine extends far beyond military service. Volunteer groups are active in supporting Ukraine's military with food, clothing, that's nice, medicine, and post-battle rehabilitation, as well as working actively with the nearly 2 million internal refugees displaced by the war in Ukraine. And she's talking about, while Jankovic extolled the battalions, an on-screen graphic displayed patches of 4 paramilitaries, the Adair, the Dnipro 1, the Donbass, and the Azov. Azov. All 4 have documented records of war crimes, while Azov is an outright group. Yes, indeed. So she's out there trying to run cover for these folks here. On September 10th, oh wow, 2014, 3 years before Nina's warm portrayal of the volunteer battalions, Newsweek ran an article titled "Ukrainian Nationalist Volunteers Committing ISIS-Style War Crimes." The story, which covered a report by Amnesty International, featured Adir as one of the battalions lauded in the Nina segment there. According to Amnesty, Adir fighters amassed a record of widespread abuses ranging from kidnap and torture to, quote, possible executions. 3 months later, Amnesty issued an urgent report about Adir and Dnipro 1, another paramilitary featured in Nina's segment, blocking food from eastern Ukraine towns and villages, using, quote, using starvation of civilians, rather, as a method of warfare is a war crime, Amnesty stated. The Donbass Battalion, the 3rd paramilitary in Nina's segment, another notorious for torture as documented by the UN, among others. The 4th group, the Azov, however you pronounce it, not only has its own history of war crimes, but a vowed indeed, the Azov patch shown in Jenkowicz's video has a self-styled wolf's angel, the N-word. What? Oh, dang it! I was going to tell you people. The N with the sword, rather. A popular white supremacist rune used by groups like the Aryan Nations. Ah, lovely people out there. Azov, which is now a premier hub of transnational white supremacy, has been extensively covered by the Western media outlets, including by me, not by me, by whoever wrote this, in The Nation. In Nature, it was well known by the time of Nina's 2017 Stop Fake video. In 2020 book, Nina briefly acknowledged as Azov, as a far-right group, but immediately pivoted, to portraying them as victims of a Russian hoax. It's always the Russians with their hoaxes, I tell you what. During Jenkowicz's tenure with Stop Fake, the disinformation site continued being touted as a pioneer in combating Russian propaganda. In 2017, the fawning Politico story heralded Stop Fake as the Grand Wizard. What? Isn't there another group of people out there that have Grand Wizards? Of the anti-fake news. Wouldn't the anti-fake news ecosystem be the news ecosystem? I tell you what, these double negatives. It was an ironically prophetic description, given that Nina's misleading nothing to see here report about the battalion turned out to be a mere fraction of what Stop Fake has done for Ukraine's far right. So there you go. You actually have a lady that's trying to come out against the. There's different rights as far as Europe. Right wing. There's different right as far as Europe is compared to the United States. A right in the European sense is a little bit more kind of if communism is on the left, then fascism would be on the right. In Europe is sort of far left and far right comparison. In the United States, it's not really that. It's more collectivism a little bit and individualism in the other side of it. So there's a little bit different connotations when they're talking about right or right wing in Europe or in the United States there. So anyways, very interesting to see completely different take out there. The Nation is not a it's not Fox News, that's for sure. Lev Gorlenkin is the author there. So do check that out if you want a little bit more information. Oh, good lord! If you want a little bit more information about old Nina out there, and maybe why Bear's video is getting struck out there. Hi, Miguel, good to see you here. Hello, what's the theme for today? Really not a big theme. It kind of got split in half here just a little bit. We were talking a little bit about, let me go back here. We were talking a little bit, gosh darn it. One of these days. We were talking a little bit about the Halo TV show here. Kind of where They killed their main character in the very spoiler alert. Sorry, people. Killed their main character in the very last episode, and what they're going to do for season 2, I have no idea. He'll come back. He'll be Space Jesus like the other show. Was that the Foundation? They'll have 2 Space Jesuses. Although the Foundation, the one girl, it's a girl. It's a girl, and also she's African. This guy, I don't know. I think he was on the Wire TV show a number of years back. The second season, the best season there. Yes, indeed. And of course, we also did. Thank you, Miguel, because I can wrap it up here with that question. We were also doing just some campaign updates here with the Wraith of God. He is doing his. Let me find it here. Coming up with the next book and coming up with a sort of preview page there. Oh my God! It looks like she's about to shoot his wing off. I tell you what. The poor Wraith. That poor Wraith out there. I tell you what, I'd say, hey baby, lower that down just a little bit. Lower that down. Gotta watch where we're pointing that weapon there. So we did a little bit of Wraith of God there, and then of course I talked a little bit about the disinformation board out there. Beer actually had his previous video taken down by YouTube, so. It ended up getting put back up and everything, but it's still private on this side. But if you go over to the Barely Live channel, it'll be up over there, so you can check that out. Yes, indeed. So, anyways, that kind of wraps things up here for Bear. Good to see VM here. Great to see Miguel once again, as always. Oh, one of the greats out there. Yes, indeed. All right, people. Well, I tell you what, we try to do this every Wednesday. Every Wednesday and Saturday evening, or afternoon, I guess. I've been doing it more in the afternoons than in the evenings here, but I don't know. Maybe we'll go back to the evenings. We'll see. Get a different viewers. Not everybody is around in the afternoon, so there you go. Anyways, try to do this Wednesday and Saturday nights. Or Saturday days. But if you've missed it, please do go check out the Barely Live channel. We do try to keep up to date over there. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, once again, thanks to VM. Great to see Miguel out there. But you know what? All this talk about Bear having his channel marked, the Wraith of God stuff, and even Halo TV show for whatever reason, killing off their main character. I don't know why. Whatever the heck. You know what? It's made Bear hungry, so he's gonna head back into the woods. So until next time, people, grrrr.